So as I've said in previous videos, the state is but an apparatus, and it is currently an apparatus working for the bourgeois class, but that does not mean that it cannot work for the working class. Now the reason why I say this is because you've probably heard how the Obama administration is going to lessen the fucking Cuba embargo, supposedly. But really, this is just to get leverage over Cuba. This has nothing to do with, they realize now the embargoes aren't working in their favor like they once thought. So now they're changing things around, and really, what can Cuba do? Because if Cuba doesn't go along with this, they're just gonna fucking bomb them like they do everything else. And this comes back to how stupid ANCAPs and libertarians and shit are. I've discussed with communist friends before that in the event that we get to gulag people, I wouldn't even bother gulagging ANCAPs and libertarians because they're just fucking stupid. They are no threat to anybody. They are not smart enough to be the bourgeois class, even as much as they would like to be. And the proof is in the pudding right here. The fact is that they don't understand the value of the state for the capitalist class. They want to believe that capitalism can have an almost anarchy element to it, hence the anarcho-capitalism, hence the minarchism of libertarians and things, and no, it doesn't work that way. Every society needs a state apparatus. It is part of a civilization. You cannot have a civilized society without the state. It is only a matter of who is the state defending, who is the state representing, who is the state preserving within that civilization. But it does not mean that somehow you're gonna live in your fucking hippie communes rolling in the mud, and definitely not if you want a capitalist society. Now, how does this state apparatus defend the bourgeois class? Well, that's pretty simple. If you look at some of the fucking anti-embargo things they're planning, essentially they're going to allow credit cards into Cuba. They're going to allow more internet access, more personal computers and cell phone technology. Oh great, the neo-capitalist moderators, that's what fucking Cuba needs, right? And on top of that, only about $100 worth of Cuban tobacco and alcohol will be allowed to be exported, probably for, the average Joe. I mean, maybe more for companies and things, but typically they're not going to be doing a lot of exporting, only importing. And this is exactly what America wants. This is exactly to their interest, because then that doesn't allow Cuba to economically prosper from this anti-embargo, but it does allow America to manipulate them with their neo-capitalist markets, and put them into credit card debt, and to fucking get the centralized banks in on them, and to fucking all these things, all these technological bourgeois elements can now be ingrained into Cuba, but without any of the problems of Cuba actually having leverage with its wonderful tobacco and alcohol market, because Cuba is just better at producing things than America. And pretty much anyone is better at producing things than America. America can't produce shit. That's why it's a moderator economy now, because they don't have to produce shit. They just act like thugs and assholes and dumb fucks. And that is the essence of their current market. But the fact is that now they're going to use that current market to undermine Cuba, but in turn, Cuba cannot undermine them back, because there are still limitations upon, what they are known for. And, it's obvious. It's obvious to anyone that has an IQ above double digits, or I should say single digits, that fucking, I don't even know how to put this in the words, because I know goddamn well the reactionaries and blue pill fuckers are not going to get it. But this is how capitalism operates. It's not a matter of the state. It's not a matter of neoconservatism. It's not a matter of any kind of ideological point by itself. It is simply a matter of capital. That's what capitalism does. That's what it intends to do. That is what its nature is. Its nature is to undermine others to benefit itself. Even though it does not have to, it could just as easily benefit without destroying. But that is what it's known for. That's what it was created for. And it's become very efficient at doing that. It's become very efficient at destroying other people's civilization, their rights, their personhood, and everything. And now they're setting their sights on Cuba because they really have nothing better to do at this point. They pretty much just slaughtered every brown person they could find So all they have left is to go after the slightly lighter toned brown people in Cuba. And it does aggravate the shit out of me, because after all this time, oh, Cuba's a communist country, which it became, fucking super revisionist. But oh, Cuba's this communist country, and we can have nothing to do with them. Now all of a sudden, we can have something to do with them. Oh boy, does that sound familiar. Sounds like when moderators say, oh, let's fucking ban that person. He can never show his face here again because he's such a terrible person. But then when they want good PR, oh, we're gonna unban people. You should come to our forum. You should give us donations that we're not going to put on our tax, files and shit, and just embezzle money. We're fucking felons, but no one puts a gun to our head. It's that kind of bullshit, and we don't need to put up with it. God willing that this turns around America, and Cuba starts having these, young guys form these Cuba militias that do just like Che Guevara and Castro did when they weren't 90 years old, and, just use guerrilla warfare on them to take down those fucking cell phone towers, to take down those fucking cable networks and their credit card firms and everything like that, and everything else that wants to put Cuba into the debt slavery that the West is in. And, I could see it happening. I'm not saying it's 100% certainty, but I could honestly see it happening, that the younger audience of Cuba looks up to what Castro used to be like, and, exemplifies that and commits guerrilla warfare in the name of Cuban Cuban sovereignty. The right to national self-determination. And, I mean, that's just my hope. I doubt sincerely it would actually happen. But it is possible, and it would be positive for Cuba to take this opportunity to fuck with American companies and shit. And I don't just say this because, they're capitalist countries and they should just be toppled and burned. I mean, that is kind of true. But there's more to it than that. It's the fact of how they go about things. And, it's not just that they destroy shit. You think I care if people get destroyed? No, fuck people. But it's the level of fucking enslavement and fucking brainwashing and pain and suffering and everything that goes into it. It's not enough that they destroy your crap. They're not happy just plundering your Earth's resources and raping you of your time and money and effort. It's not enough that you fucking don't get to do anything with your life and have to work day in and day out just to survive, but then they want to fucking tell you that it's your fault and that you have to work harder and that you just didn't want it enough. No, that's not a fucking enough. Then they gotta find new ways to oppress you. They have fucking sniper rifle bullets that can change direction mid-flight. They have fucking shit that they can backtrack your information and shut down your bank account because you pissed off the wrong guy in the political office. And they have fucking shit that they let all these private companies just wank each other and shoot up heroin and fucking fuck little girls in their private, bunkers or whatever. And they fucking embezzle money and commit all sorts of felonies, but nobody fucking cares about that. Oh, Jim Prophet's just a fucking asshole for talking about felony moderators, but meanwhile, somebody posted an ISIS tweet. We have to do something about that. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about, and that's why fucking Cuba needs to have guerrilla warfare again. And I'm not saying it would necessarily work. I'm not saying it would necessarily take down the imperialist system, because the imperialist system is huge. I doubt sincerely that guerrilla warfare would actually take them down, but god damn it. Just give them a taste of their own medicine. Just give them some pain back. That's all I say, is just give some pain back to the people that put you through pain. If a moderator is gonna do that shit to you, then you do it to him back. You take it out on his dog, you take it out on his family, until they learn that it is very, very inconvenient to fuck with you, and make them have to go fuck with somebody else. That's really all I have to say.